Welcome to the Filthy Mitts Podcast.
The Detroit Red Wings defense is not good. And I got to tell you guys, I'm not sure how you fix it. Maybe it fixes itself. And what I mean by that is you have three young guys that could easily take a step next year. We're talking about Simon Edvinsson, Albert Johansson, and Axel Sandin-Pellikka. Edvinsson is solid. All right, for a good part of the season, him and Mo were analytically the best pairing in hockey. But I still think he can be better. I want to see his offensive numbers climb a bit. The guy is way too talented to only be putting up 25 points. And Johansson took a pretty decent step last year too. He should continue to be a third pairing guy. But again, if he improves even a little bit, it gives the team more balance. We rely on Seider way too much, you guys. And then there's Axel Sandin-Pellikka. In my opinion, what the Detroit Red Wings really need is for ASP to take a massive step. When he was playing in Sweden, all I heard was, this guy is the next Swedish superstar. Well, I want to see it. All right? And maybe it's not fair to expect him to come out and be our Lane Hudson or our Matthew Schaefer, but that's how this guy was advertised before he got to Detroit. And that's exactly what Detroit needs right now. Am I wrong? And look, I know he's only 21 years old. All right, but do you think he's going to develop into that high-scoring defenseman? You know, the one that we were told he'd be? Because I'm not sure. What I do know is that we had a real shot at landing a high-scoring defenseman, and his name was Quinn Hughes. And we failed to capitalize on that. Now we need ASP to be that guy more than ever. If he can take that next step and force himself into the top four, then a guy like Justin Faulk gets bumped down in the lineup. Suddenly, your defensive depth looks pretty damn good. Which brings us to our next topic. Because we still have a giant elephant in the room that we need to address. And that giant elephant is the play of Ben Chiarot and Justin Faulk. All right, look, Faulk had some pretty good moments for us. Remember that backhand snipe he got? I think that was actually his first goal as a wing, too. It was nasty, for sure. All right, but besides that, Faulk and Chiarot were abysmal together. And I'm not going off the eye test. I'm going off pure analytics. Like their goal share and their expected goal share. When they were on the ice together, only 36% of the goals scored were Wings goals. That is a losing formula, you guys. And I don't want to blame it all on Chiarot, but since he signed his extension, he's been outscored 17-9 on 5v5 goals. All right, together, these guys were constantly giving up high danger opportunities. So what do? Do you just let it play out? Maybe it was just a chemistry issue. Maybe they just need some more reps together. I don't know. All right, but if it doesn't get better, then what? Do you pair them with someone else? Or does that just create a new bad pair? One thing is for sure, and that is that we need to figure out who the problem is. And if we can figure that out, then we got to decide what to do about it. All right, do we trade one of them? Because we just extended Ben Chiarot, and we spent a small fortune to get Faulk. I want to know what you guys think about this. Now, I also hear some of you guys talking about adding a player like Rasmus Andersson or Darren Raddysh. All right, and that would be great. I am all for it. Anderson's a good all-around defenseman. He's mean. He blocks shots. He does it all, you guys. And Raddysh just had an absolutely ridiculous breakout season at the age of 30. The dude netted 22 goals and 72 points. Just craziness. All right, but it makes me wonder, though, how many of those points were because he's playing with guys like Kucherov and Braden Point. I'm just saying. He's never done that before. So if you were somehow able to sign him, you might be disappointed when he only gets you 6 goals and 37 points or so. But if you do add one of those guys, you got to think who's leaving. All right, because we don't necessarily have room for one of them. Are you going to get rid of Faulk, the guy that you just spent that fortune on? How about Chiarot, the guy that you just extended? All right, the point is Right now, the Wings defense isn't good enough, and there's no obvious way to fix it. There's not a lot of options in free agency, and trades are tough to pull off. Right now, I feel like we're living on hope. I hope Simon Edvinsson becomes the next Victor Hedman. I hope ASP becomes the next Quinn Hughes. And I hope Ben Chiarot and Justin Faulk can figure it out. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. If you like this type of hockey content, give us a follow. This is the Filthy Mitts Podcast. I'm out.